is important to mention because most people don't really know how the foundation works, even though we do try to be as open as possible.
I just love the way Vitalik done. It's very authentic. The gas fees is still extremely painful. Solana screams, we are 1 million TPS, and Ethereum says, we are slow and expensive.
I think TPS is one that should honestly just die. You now work at the foundation. What's the one-liner?
It's the digital foundation for everything you pretend to understand in finance. All right, guys, let's get into it. Our guest today is Mo Jali from the Ethereum Foundation, and his resume is honestly just showing off. Master from the London School of Economics, check. Venture capital team lead, check. Meaning he used to say no to people like us with a terrible app idea. Now, he's the APAC enterprise lead at the Ethereum Foundation. The guy enterprise call when the blockchain strategy is embarrassing. So we brought him here to find out why a smart guy like him left a normal, lucrative job, to work on this global decentralized computer. Let's get to the bottom of this. And everyone, please welcome the brilliantly overqualified Mo Jali. Hey, Mo. Welcome to the show today.
It's a pleasure. I want to meet this person. The person that you just described sounds absolutely amazing.
It's just right here. So tell us about yourself. Do a little introduction.
Before joining the Ethereum Foundation, I've had a very long career. Originally started on TradFi many years ago. So I used to be at Goldman Sachs building algo trading systems for a number of different years in London. And then I switched over to the buy side. So I was in hedge fund for a while. And eventually I started my own company. So moved over to America. I was in LA for a few years, then San Francisco. And after 8 years of kind of doing a founder work, I joined the Ethereum Foundation just under 2 years ago in the cryptographic research lab. So it was quite a technical role. And after being there for a while, the EF went through a few different changes that we can talk about. And now I am the APAC enterprise lead at the Ethereum Foundation.
Absolutely. They better be paying you a lot more money than the previous job.
I mean, the EF provides a lot of value beyond that money.
Definitely. And all right, Vitalik as a boss, let's be honest, does he send you a 4,000 word draft at the middle of the night? Or he's like a professor who mumbles all right, get out of here, figure it out yourself.
Vitalik is a very interesting person. He is obviously a core part of the foundation. And yeah, he has amazing blogs. So if you haven't read his blogs, I encourage you to go. It's absolutely amazing. It covers so many different topics. But yeah, so Vitalik doesn't actually get involved with the day-to-day operations of the Ethereum Foundation, which I think is important to mention because most people don't really know how the foundation works, even though we do try to be as open as possible. What we do have is Vitalik definitely gets involved in the board level decisions. But the way that the foundations actually run is with Tomasz, who is our co-ED with Xiaowei, and then we have Aya, who is the president. And they really help shape the organization day to day and what we do.
I saw Vitalik on screen, online. And tell me, is that him or is it just AI? Because, I just love the way Vitalik does. It's very authentic. Yeah. It's very modern. It's a bit jerky, with a bit of playful jerkiness, a bit of robotic, but I would definitely say it's definitely more authentic than, Ricky Martin or the late Michael Jackson. Tell me.
I mean, I've seen many videos of him dancing. Some of them are real, some are not. He's definitely a man of many talents. Depending on which clip you're going to play, it may be him.
Look at Vitalik dance. To me, it's almost like romance. Like when I saw Ivan's pants. Check out this dance. Vitalik is dancing. Vitalik is dancing. Vitalik is dancing. Why are they dancing? Vitalik is dancing. Vitalik is dancing. This guy is dancing. Why are they dancing?
That's awesome. Wow. I can never do that. I think that's a sexy dance, That's what people love about him, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, okay, one thing about Vitalik is that he's basically exceedingly approachable. You'll meet him, he'll talk to you. He has a lot of different ideas. It's really quite cool.
This good guy. All right. So the foundation just keeps selling ETH for operation. So come on, like how much of that actually goes to the server and these salaries, and how much of that really goes to covering the bad treasury?
well, hold on a second. So first of all, I have to say that whenever the Ethereum Foundation sells ETH, I know there's a lot of basically activity on Twitter, but it's done with good reason. Like we're actually extremely prudent. Like it's used to, like you said, pay our engineers to help develop the core protocol, right? Which is really important. Do research for like long-term benefit of the ecosystem. But also another thing that people don't quite recognize, even though we do publish this every year, a lot of the ETH that so a lot of our treasury is used towards supporting the ecosystem. So we spend millions doing grants, supporting protocols, extremely, I think, prudent with the way that we think about spending the treasury. And it's something that we talk about quite often internally. So it's not bad treasury management. I think treasury management is quite amazing. But I understand that when ETH is being sold, people can get really, really passionate about that. And that's one thing we love about the Ethereum community is that they're really passionate about the things that we do.
Everybody gets a little overly excited at times, But it's good to know the money is in good hands,
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. And let's face it, come on, like the gas fees is still extremely painful, all right? And is that something you guys just don't want to fix it, just to make, Ethereum exclusive, like a country club for whales?
Yeah, that's a great question. We are definitely trying to make it lower. I think the challenge here is that it's an engineering problem, right? So one of the Ethereum's core values is that we want to make sure that anyone and everyone can participate, that's permissionless, and a core part that is being decentralized, and making sure that people can run nodes and validators. And in order to kind of balance that with kind of the economics of gas, it can be a bit of an engineering challenge. So we've heard the community, we know that this is something that we want to bring down, we are. We do have many different solutions to this. For example, we have the L2 ecosystem where you can transact if you want to go for cheaper fees and then ultimately settle on the L1. So if you look at the roadmap for the Ethereum protocol, you'll see that we're definitely actively looking at kind of lowering the gas fees.
All right, we are saying that it's not a country club, but doing a bull run, it definitely feels like one.
Okay.
If you're a developer in Manila, just like my cousin from Nairobi, and building a DF for the community, it's like, those gas fees is just a real entry barrier, huge barrier to innovation, just not user convenience, I say that.
Yeah. Again, to that point, it's that basically so the solution that we've gone for is more of a modular approach, right? So we built the layer 1, and then we have all these various different layer 2s that give you various different things. So lower gas fees, high transaction throughput. And for your cousin, I would suggest basically building on definitely a layer 2, like Base, like any of the OP stack layer 2s. There are many different options. And the great thing about the way that Ethereum is built is that ultimately liquidity is secured by the layer 1, and you have access to all of that. So as long as you're building on the L1 or the L2, you still get a lot of the benefits.
All righty.
There are definitely solutions.
Okay, cool. I'm going to call my cousin right there in Nairobi. Tell him right now. Solana screams, we are 1 million TPS, and Ethereum says, we are slow and expensive. Which one is going to win in long run? It's like, are you betting on the prestige, beats performance like Ferrari over Toyota?
Yeah, I think the way that we like to think about it is that we are an institutional grade infrastructure, public infrastructure. And I think that's something that institutions definitely care about. And when you are building for that, you care about resilience, security, and privacy. And those for us, I think TPS is often used as a number and it can be inflated. Not all these ecosystems actually hit those numbers. What's more important is, I think, resilience, reliability. An example of this is that, let's say, for example, you're a traditional company, right? You would have an SLA with Amazon that's like 99.6% uptime. Since the first block was mined on Ethereum, it's had 100% uptime in 10 years. So I feel like those are the things that people really care about. And when it comes to like TPS, we take that modular approach, right? So you can jump on an L2 and get kind of the performance that you need.
It's a totally different model, and you're not betting on, like trying to sell the most expensive car, but, really on building the most valuable, secure assets and the premium global settlement layer.
We are building. We actually already have the most premium global settlement layer. I think the thing to kind of add there is that if you want a fast car, you can get it as well.
Yeah.
There's just different options. Yeah.
I only drive a fast car. To save some price. So let's say 5 years down the road, if Ethereum is going to dominate, are you going to see any like Solana or any other chains going to be coming out from nowhere to flip you guys?
The way that we think about this is that as long as we deliver the most amount of value to the people that want to use Ethereum as a network, we'll be successful. Like my role is as an institutional or enterprise APAC lead, so we definitely talk to them and see what we can do to build institutional grade infrastructure. We have various different stakeholders. So when we think about like 5 years from now, as long as more people are using the Ethereum network in a way that boosts values, like decentralization, censorship resistance, privacy, we're quite happy. We don't necessarily look deeply at the ecosystems and plan for flipping them or like how they're operating. But that's not to say we're not cognizant of the fact that there are different ecosystems out there. But I think if you can build something truly valuable for users, then you win, right? That's the best way to look at it.
I think so. How does Ethereum Foundation runs? Like, everybody's in the, somewhere, even the time zone is different. People in Argentina, and now you're here, in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
And also, like, tell us a bit more. It's like, to us, it's just like a little, a mystery, a myth,
Yeah. I mean, we do a lot for a small team. Like I said, we have under 300 people. And the way that we think about, like, one of the core, most important ways that we do this is we make sure that everyone's an owner, right? So it's kind of like a startup where everyone operates with agency. They make decisions. They feel like they own the work that they're doing. They're really passionate about it. So because of that, you're able to do so much more. It's the reason why it's like small companies, small startups can take on like these Goliaths, right? And we've taken that and internalized that as part of the EF, right? It's always been that case. Actually, one of the things about the foundation is that it used to be known to be like not hierarchical because you needed like people that wanted to do things and attract them to this organization. So that's like a big one. The second thing is that, recently, just a few months ago, we did a big kind of reorganization of the foundation. And the way that it is now structured reflects how we kind of want to move forward and really kind of develop the ecosystem. So the way that I would explain this is that we essentially have like 3 large clusters. Mm-hmm. We have the protocol cluster, and these are the people that are like the engineers, the developers that are building out the infrastructure of the future, right? Like this is something that whenever you talk about like the roadmap for Ethereum, the technical roadmap, all that kind of stuff, that's the cluster that develops it. We then have the privacy cluster. So what a lot of people don't know, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, is that we actually have a dedicated cluster focused purely on privacy, because privacy is what allows you to do all the different things that we want to do in a way that's free and permissionless. Finally, we have this ecosystem cluster, which is what I'm part of, right? This is something that we never really quite had until recently. And the way that we've structured that is we've looked at basically the entire community and we thought to ourselves, like, who's here? What do we need to do to support them? So we created teams to support founders. We have a founder team. We created a team that would support our capital allocators. We have a policy team that will work with governments and policymakers. We have an institutional team. And that is not something that actually people quite realize, that we have these dedicated people catering to all the various different stakeholders, because each stakeholder really uses the chain or the Ethereum network in their own different way.
Wow. It's very organized.
It is, actually, it is. And I think I'm really excited about the future of Ethereum because we never really had it or this kind of like structure before. And we have that now. And I think that's going to be, if you combine that with our technical expertise and the things that we've done so well, it's really a bright future.
You talk about ownership. I'm sure everybody, who is excited about joining Ethereum Foundation. So how do you find these guys who has so much ownership? And then what is the prerequisite, of trying to, get your candidates to join Ethereum?
Yeah. I would like to say that, like, kind of like a startup, like it's kind of, we look at it as a way of like, do you fit our cultural values? There are definitely ways to get through to us. We're extremely approachable. Just reach out. Like the funniest thing is that a lot of people I talk to at the Ethereum Foundation and ask how they joined. It's usually because they sent a message to someone on our Discord, or they basically messaged us and they said, hey, we're interested in taking part. Like, how can I help? And what we tend to do is that we don't have this like black box of like, what's your resume and your CV? Like, it's more about, do you have like the cultural values? Do you have Like, do you care about the things that we care about? And then the way that we think about who's going to be a good fit is like, do they seem like they can come at this problem, they can kind of take ownership and do it? And I think what happens is that when you attract people like that, there's this kind of gravity where you get more people like that want to be part of the kind of ecosystem that you're building.
Building the right culture.
Yeah, because like you get one or two people like that, and then they'll bring other people that are like that.
That's right. That's so important. You know, especially in the digital assets, environment, Web3 environment. You know, we just need to push things forward.
Yeah. So actually, one of the things that attracted me to this role was that the fact that when I spoke to everyone, they were like, you know what, we know this institutions are incredibly important. Asia is really important. Like, how do you want to do it? Like, how do you think we should do it? And that's the reason why we come down to Hong Kong so often. It's the reason why we're everywhere is because it allowed me to exercise those muscles, because I want to be able to make these decisions and figure out the strategy. And I think the way that people work at the EF is that way you get people that really take ownership and like build out the way that they want to work. And then they collaborate as well.
That's wonderful. Everyone now want to join Ethereum. Let's just start with more. Like, as an enterprise lead, I know that you come to, you fly to Hong Kong on and off. Like, who do you want to reach out to?
I mean, I've been to Hong Kong like 1 week every month for the last couple of months. And actually,
Wow.
I will be here again often, extremely often. And the reason why is because like Hong Kong has so many like financial, like actual institutions that are doing
Yes.
a lot of work.
A lot of them.
And what we're doing is we're saying, hey, look, where are people interested in digital assets and how can we help? What I found is that there are many institutions here that are moving towards digital assets, but they are not quite sure how to do it or where to do it. And what's the best way, and oftentimes they'll come to us for that. So I think the things that we can really help in is that if you have like a digital asset strategy and you think about how to deploy that on chain, you want to know what's the best way to do it, you can talk to us. Another thing that we're extremely good at, actually one thing that makes us very different from nearly every other foundation is that because we spent so much time building these like extremely technical teams, we have a lot of expertise in things like confidentiality and privacy, which is key for any institution if they want to move on to a public blockchain, right? So I'll give you an example. I spoke to one of the world's largest investment banks not too long ago, and they said to us, hey, look, we can do all this stuff. We have like a lot of engineers, but one thing that we don't quite understand is how do we get this stuff on chain in a way that's compliant, that's private and confidential, and in a way that they're happy and feel secure and reliable. And I said to them, well, we can help you with that. So those are the things that we can definitely do. And a big misconception that people have is that it's not privacy or confidentiality. You can do both.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But yeah, so we're definitely keen on meeting many people. We already have a lot of institutions reaching out to us. But if you are thinking about any kind of digital asset strategy and you think about moving on chain, we now have a person that you can talk to. So you can definitely reach out to us anytime.
So just do a one-liner to the audience. Like, who should reach out to you?
So if you are working in any financial institution or any institution that's looking at blockchains, reach out to us. You could be either exploring it or ahead of digital assets, or you've been building on it for a while. I'm the person to talk to. So yes,
There you go. All right. Mo is the person to talk to.
I'm the person to talk to.
So Mo, so tell me, what is a tip for people who want to do a career switch to Web3?
Yeah, so I was a founder in my previous life, so this is going to be my take on this. I think this is going to sound like very short, but I think just build things. Like the great thing about what we're trying to do is it's permissionless. You can try and do something, and I think that shows more about what you're able to do and what you're interested in than anything on like a resume. So if you want to switch to Web3, try building in Web3. Like just go and do it. Just like speak to someone and start making something, or join a team and help them build something. You don't have to be technical. You don't have to write code. You can help with marketing. You can join any number of different organizations in crypto. And I think my suggestion is don't overthink it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, like Nike. Just
I
do
love
it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. So what would be the one-liner? Like, let's say you are rebranding Ethereum. You work at, so you're talking about working at the foundation. You now work at the foundation. What's the one-liner?
All right. The one-liner is Ethereum. It's the digital foundation for everything you pretend to understand in 5 years. Is it good?
That's
All right,
funny.
it's a good song.
Yeah.
The next question is, if ETH, hit a new ATH in the next cycle. So what's the brutally honest reason? And the tech bottleneck, foundation politics, or simply that the market just doesn't care about any ideas anymore?
Typically, we almost never talk about price internally. And it goes back to our philosophy of like, what can we do to like push forward the Ethereum values? And if you do that, I think if you do those things, those values also have economic and business values as well, which is the reason why we have RWAs now, which is the reason why stablecoins were invented on Ethereum, because we created this like place for anyone to experiment. And if you do those things and value moves on chain, then it makes sense that over time that value is reflected somewhere. So right now, stablecoins, money market funds, RWAs. In the future, it could be other things.
Yes, it's a lot of happening right now. You just can't catch up anymore. So if everyone says that Ethereum will be the global settlement, layer, big bold prediction at 2030, all right? And does Ethereum actually runs the world's finance, or does it just become academic experiment, next to the faster, shinier chain?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not an academic experiment. It may have been over 10 years ago. Now we have over $160 billion worth of assets securing the network. We have largest number. Oh,
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most expensive smart contract platform to attack. Wow. We have 90% of all RWAs, 60% of all stablecoins. So it's already like, truly a place that's institutional grade that you can build today. And I think 10 years from now, like I said, like if we do our work well, we do it and we execute well, it'll be the default, basically, settlement layer for finance, which is why I think would be amazing. And it's like the internet, right? Like we don't think about HTTPS, how that works, or like SMTP, how email works, but it just works. Yes. And if we get to a place where it just works and it works in Ethereum, I think that'll be amazing.
Wonderful. We hope that's going to happen. Wow, that's really going to happen. So we're going to be building a perfect global financial system for people who will still use them to buy meme coin. I got it. Thanks.
Wait, hold on a second. I have to add. Meme coins are definitely something that people can use. They can buy. It's up to them. It's not my preferred usage of the network, but it's definitely there. I'll say, having talked to so many institutions, what we're seeing is that the biggest, most sophisticated players in most industries are moving towards some kind of digital asset strategy, and they're doing it on Ethereum. So I think
that's wonderful. Meme coins just love Ethereum.
They
just love it.
You can have fun too, right? You can do everything.
Of course. Let's be provocative. And what's the single dumbest narrative in crypto right now that you wish would just die?
Honestly, we've talked about like basically numbers throughout a lot of this. I think TPS is one that should honestly just die. Like all these TPS numbers that you're seeing, most of them are like extremely theoretical. Most of them don't really say much. What's more important than TPS, like the number, is that you build something reliable and resilient. And I think that's really a moat, right? So TPS, just like kill that. That's like a terrible number.
Yeah, just kill the TPS. If Ethereum succeeded beyond everyone's imagination, and what does the world look like in 2030? And are we talking about the new global financial system or just something even crazier?
Yeah, I actually think it's the opposite. Like we're not trying to do something where we replace everything in the world. I don't think that's what we're trying to do. What I think is that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it'll be so baked into the way that we do things as infrastructure that it's invisible. It just works. It's just there. All of financial transactions, all the kind of assets kind of just go through the Ethereum network, and you don't see it. It's just how things work. Kind of like the internet does today, right? Like no one really thinks about like all the various different computers and how everything is routed, but it's just there.
Everything's going to be in place. Nothing's going to go crazy.
Yeah, like ideally, the best technologies are the ones that are invisible.
Imagine if Ethereum becomes, the foundation of global finance by 2030. It could mean that a world where your mom easily shares ownership of a home through community trust, and your coffee maker pays for its own electricity using microtransaction, and everywhere are just collaborating offline to build a new kind of digital economy.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a great question. But I think the way that we see it's a bit different in that basically we would love in 10, 20 years from now that the technology just works, like everything kind of settles on it. Like I said, the best technologies are the ones that are invisible. But I would like to add, the thing about the Ethereum ecosystem that makes it special is that you can create new vehicles, you can create new things. So those new things should hopefully make it so that money and assets and things are more accessible, more equitable. You can be anywhere in the world and you can take part in this new system. I think that if you do those two things, that'll be success.
And we are not just making it easier to collect digital arts too.
Yeah.
And making it possible for everyone to participate in a more open, creative, and inclusive financial future.
Yeah, those are definitely core parts of our value. We want everyone to get involved, right?
So Mo, we are not just making it easier for everyone to collect digital arts, but we are making it possible for everyone to participate in a more open, creative, and inclusive financial future. It's a great time we have with Mo today for Ethereum Foundation. Thank you very much for coming up here. We'd love to see you at Token 2029.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.